All right, so I got some people are away from their computers right now, but as you see here on the top of the page on the internal flow lab network, I have pi 1, 2, or 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Everybody has
Yes.
a pi designated to them. However, since Ethan 2 is not going to be joining us today on the actual GUI part of things, I'm going to put Soren in there. And I moved Ethan 2 to over here.
Hello.
Okay, Elijah's back.
Yeah, my start works now.
Yay. So I want you guys to look at the shared document. So what we have different today, as I had just mentioned, is we have 4 Raspberry Pis in our lab here that you guys are going to be remoting to. All right, the username and password is still the same as it was with the default. And then I have the 4 sets of Raspberry Pis, and I have one for everybody that'll be doing GUI work today. So what's fun is today we're starting GUIs. So that's the graphical user interfaces. Okay. Elijah, I have you
Okay.
on 60. Soren will be on 61. Ethan 1 is on 62, and Ronan will be on 63. And Ethan 2, I'll have another one here for you, but you won't be logging in right now since you don't have VNC installed. Okay. So on here are some notes that I'm going to start with, but I want to get everybody VNC'd in and make sure everybody's operational before we move too much further. So Elijah, open up your VNC and make sure everybody's VPN'd into the lab network. And we'll start moving on.
I don't want this. Go away. 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 There we go.
So, Chris, I might have to close out Putty in my WinSP and make a whole new thing.
Your WinSP is your FTP system, and you'll be using that to connect to your designated Pi. So today your Pi is different than it probably was in the past. You're using 62, which is a whole new one that you haven't used before. So yeah, you'll be connecting to 62 instead of the other ones.
And I'll also have to redo Putty.
All right, Chris. What do I do?
I'm going to be connecting over Putty. So, and that's when I was talking about using the VNC. So Elijah, you're connecting to your VNC or to your Putty, or I'm sorry, but your Raspberry Pi. So your IP address there is 192. Are you typing?
Oh, sorry. What did I do?
192.168.2.60. Okay, hit continue. And your username and password is the same as it is. Nope, it's the same it is when you log in via Putty. So that is the Pi and Raspberry.
Oh, okay.
I should be able to transfer my LED thing over,
Yep.
I think.
Yep. All right, Elijah, do you see what
I'll make sure I have it.
Wait, Raspberry Pis have a desktop?
Yes, this is our virtual desktop now. All these systems are set up what's called.
It's like remote desktop.
Yes, it's a remote desktop for the Raspberry Pi. And the Raspberry Pis are set up in what's called a headless configuration. So there's not actually screens plugged into them. That's why your resolution is a little bit on the lower side. However, if you click on that thing that's fourth from the right in the top left-hand corner, you can open up your command prompt. And I want to get everybody else logged into the Raspberry Pis as well. Elijah, you should still have your Eli folder on here, and then you have a GUI folder as well. So open up your Putty on your local machine, and we'll start doing some programming once I get everybody else logged in. Soren, open VNC as well, and let's get you connected.
Okay,
Wait,
I'm gonna
Chris.
transfer the window over to the
Okay,
screen.
Soren, yep, you're connected to 61, so go ahead and log in. Ethan, 1, I need you to do the same thing, and Ronan, you do the same, and according to your table on the one that you're supposed to be logged into.
So close that. Am I gonna have to transfer the LED over? My folder over?
The LED programs right now. We're going to start some new programs.
Yeah.
So don't.
Chris.
Oh, so I don't need those?
No, you do not. What, Elijah?
Chris.
Okay.
So do you need Putty and VNC?
No, you do not need Putty right now, because
Okay.
as opposed to doing the Putty as your terminal emulator, but since we're not emulating the terminal because we're directly logged in, then you have the access to the terminal directly on that desktop. Okay. VNC viewer requires access to local computers, successful features to send media keys such as sure. Hey, give access. All right. So Ethan and Ronan and Soren, are you guys all?
Wait. VNC viewer would like to control this computer using accessibility features.
You want to allow that?
What?
Allow that, yes.
Open system preferences.
Well, I'm gonna have to unplug that boozer, aren't I?
Yeah.
All right, Soren, you're on 61. Are you already logged into it?
I am working on that. I have to allow stuff, and it makes me like change a bunch of stuff and go to this.
I wish I could hear that in
takes
real life.
So I have to use the VNC?
Yeah. Now what we're gonna do now for basically for the whole week here is we're gonna use VNC to remotely control the login to our Raspberry Pis. Okay.
What do
Can
I
I
have to do for
change the
VNC?
background?
I'm going to bring up my.
So what do I have to do for VNC?
Are you already in VNC? Yeah, you are. So, no, I'm looking at Soren's. Ethan 1, are you logged in?
I'm logged in with my WinSCP.
Okay. Now with VNC, log into the IP that you have on the shared document. So that's that 192.168.2.62. Can you guys hear me?
2.
There you go.
Connect.
Hit continue.
Continue.
Yes, sir. Ronan, are you good to go, dude?
I have milk.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, that's cool.
unmute so we can see you.
That was
So this is
good
the
milk.
Raspberry Pi.
All right, Ronan, I need you to do a screen presentation so we can see it too. So then I can help you with this. Yes, Elijah, and I think I got Elijah, Soren, and Ethan 1 all logged in. So yes, this is the desktop of the Raspberry Pi. If you click on the terminal window on that top left there, then you'll open up the terminal that you're used to working with when you use Putty. Not menu, go to
The menu?
first, second, third, fourth one over there. On the top, on the very, very top. Yep.
Games?
It's E.
Python?
No.
Oh, games in Python?
No. Very top. Ethan.
Yeah.
Scroll over the place. Go to the very top. The very top where it says menu. Now go over to the right. Go up. Ethan 1.
Yeah.
Okay, put your cursor back where it says menu. Now go to the right one. That's the world. Go to the right one more. Now go to the right one more. That's your terminal. Click on that.
I clicked it.
Open up the terminal on your desktop there. There you go. That's what I want you to do. Now on 62, do an Ethan folder and a GUI folder. So do CD Ethan and CD GUI. Now Ronan, let's take a look at you. Make sure you have your Putty open. Okay. Ronan, let me see what you got going on, man. All right, where VNC?
Huh?
Ronan, where's your VNC?
Yes.
How do I
open it.
Did you download VNC like you were supposed to?
Yeah.
Game.
Computer. Ronan, where's VNC? Did you download it and install it, or did you just download it?
I downloaded it.
Okay, go to downloads. That means you didn't install it. Just install it. Open that back up. Go to downloads. And then, yep, double click right there, VNC viewer. Let's get that installed. So you just had to go through and do the installation process, and then we'll get you connected. Hit next. And what does this say? Oh, it says you already have it set up. So hit cancel. Okay. Now, yes, finish. Okay. So in your bottom left-hand corner where the window is, click that, and then we'll do a search.
Yeah.
Click that.
Locker number.
There you go.
Oh god.
VNC viewer.
Let me see if I can find it. What? I don't know.
Elijah, why are you yakking? Hit X on the getting started, Ronan.
Wait, where?
Just hit
V.
that
Something.
right there.
I don't know. There's nothing in my.
I can't.
Just hit got it. It's making you do the send anonymous data, which is fine. All right, so on there, Ronan, you're assigned to 192.168.2.63.
Hey, Chris.
Let's make sure we get Ronan. Okay, look, there we go, Ronan. Perfect. Hit continue. Okay, now log into the Raspberry Pi.
There we go. Same.
Just start. All right. Now have Pi is the one that you are assigned to. Ronan,
What?
you are assigned to that Raspberry Pi. You have remote access to it, and you can write programs and execute here. And I'll show you exactly what we're doing here soon. So I just presenting. So why don't everybody look at my screen? Make sure we have Notepad++ up, and we'll start moving on. Okay. Now, if you look at the shared Google Doc, right underneath the table where I indicate who's got what IP address, I have the notes for GUI programming. Okay. So if everybody's looking at this document, and before we move on, does anybody have any questions? We should have 4 kids logged into 4 Raspberry Pis, correct?
Indeed.
Look at the phone camera. You can see that you're actually logged into this screen, and it's actually showing this screen over here. So you're remote desktoped into this one that you have access to and control over. Okay. All right. So I want everybody to look at my Google Docs notes, and I have GUIzero.py up. The first thing is we have the imports, just like everything we're used to. So if you look at my Notepad++, I have what I have there for the notes on my includes and or my imports, and I want everybody to do the same thing on a new Python file in Notepad++. Just name it GUI-0.py. Okay.
A new file?
Yeah. So open up your Notepad++.
That didn't work.
Do a new file.
Is this Python file?
This will be a Python file. That is correct.
I go file and then new file? New.
And make it a.
How do I rename this?
Yep. Do it.
Just GUI.py.
Do
So
-0. Do a -0 because we're going to have a bunch of them. So GUI, and remember, if you do uppercase, you have to type uppercase when you launch it. I usually do lowers. If you want to do uppers, go right ahead. And remember, when you do a new file here, do a file save as type py for Python. Okay. Now, from the Google Docs sheet, if you would like, you can take what I have in the Google Docs sheet for my imports and copy and paste it right to the top of your Python file, so your file will look just like mine. Okay, and you'll see all these things right here that I have for my imports. Okay,
Chris, I'm just gonna do a file save as.
that's
Does that work?
file save as, and then change it over.
Hey, Chris,
Got? Yes.
do we need that big gap in there?
You mean this big gap right here for lines 4, 5, 6, 7?
Hang on, I don't know if I'm looking at yours.
I always put extra lines of gaps just for the sake of making it easier to look at when you're writing your programs. Okay.
No, I mean like there's 100 lines of gap.
I don't know what you're looking at. That would be 100 lines.
It wasn't like specifically 100, but it was a lot.
I'm looking at your screen right now. All right. So GUI-0.
Chris, we called it. You named it GUIzero.
That's correct.
Oh.
As you see right here on mine, I just have it called GUI-0.py. So we're starting. This is basically like a new chapter of our Python programming. We just learned our basis of components, and now we're starting with GUI stuff. So we're learning all these basics from all these different sections. And once we get some GUI stuff down, then we're going to move on to the next level and really start integrating all the things that we've learned all together, and it'll get really cool. Okay? So as you see on my screen, just kind of copy what I got. Is everybody able to see the text okay? Or do I need to increase this a little bit? There we go.
Yeah.
So the basics are the imports, and notice we have a new library that you have not worked with before. It's called GUIzero. This is a library that we're going to be working with for doing graphical user interfaces with Python programming. So the first thing, and you can see my comments here, is I just put the title of the GUI. App equals app title equals hello world. So remember, our first Python program was hello world. This is going to be our first GUI called hello world. And then the next piece, just like we're used to, this is your actual program loop. Okay? So notice my comments here. This is what actually starts the graphical user interface loop. Okay? The app, or all these different things that are involved in this graphical interface, are above our loop, and these are all called widgets. Everything that goes onto our graphical interface or our form is called a widget. The app.display is the same thing as while true. So it's a continuous loop that's going to be running when we launch this. So I want everybody to do this program just like I have it, save it, and transfer it to your Raspberry Pi. And I want everyone to also notice that you have a GUI directory. Elijah, I don't know, is that actually showing up as a pie? It is showing up as a pie. Okay, so Elijah, open up your remote desktop. I'm looking at your screen right now, so I can just tell you exactly what's going on. So I want you to change directory into your Eli and GUI. Now, this particular library that we're working with, the GUIzero, this is a Python 3 library that we're working with. So everybody has to type Python 3 space GUI-0.py.
Can I execute it?
That, Elijah.
Execute
made a thing.
456.
That's a GUI, Elijah. You made your first GUI.
Then I think I moved the window so much that it froze for a second.
Okay. So every time you want to execute that GUI, you can just push up and then relaunch that Python program, and then that GUI will pop up. So I just watched Elijah do it. I want to make sure everybody else is grasping what's going on and doing it properly before we move on, because we're going to start adding some extra widgets to it.
So,
Chris.
Chris is
Yes, Ethan too.
So what do we do to? So I'm gonna try to do some of this later and catch up.
For one,
What do we do after we make it? Is there like a file we're supposed to save it in to make it
same thing.
work?
We do it before. Remember previously what we would do is we would write it with Notepad++, transfer it to FileZilla or whatever FTP program you're running, and then execute it via Putty. Now, since we're working with GUIs, we're connecting to our Raspberry Pi via VNC, and then you're not launching it with Putty anymore, but you still need to transfer it with your FTP program. Okay?
So how do we transfer it?
With the FTP program, with FileZilla. So you transfer it to the Raspberry Pi with FileZilla, and then you execute it on your actual system. Elijah, Eli, you're supposed to be connected to
Why, Chris?
60. On 60, Soren's on 61, Ethan 1's on 62, and Ronan's on 63. Ronan, are you following along, dude?
Chris, what is this?
Well, let me screen. All right. I see you on there, Ronan. So, Ronan, did you already transfer that file, Ronan? I think you must be. Said,
I can't find this file.
go ahead and execute that, Ronan. I can see you typing. You need to be in Ronan. You need to be in the Ronan and GUI directory. Okay. That's why it's a very basic program to start, because it's basically getting everybody to grasp how the graphical user interface systems work and how we're going to be interfacing remotely with our Raspberry Pis. Ronan, you need to be in your GUI directory. There you go. Okay, so I made GUI directories for everybody, and everybody's going to be transferring all their new Python programs when we're dealing with GUIs into the GUI directory.
Can I execute it?
Ronan, it's very possible you don't have
I'll
in there, dude.
in the sheets. On sheets.
The what?
Ronan, did you transfer your Python program to your Raspberry Pi and to the GUI directory?
I can't hear you very well. Sometimes I can hear you, and sometimes I can't.
Okay, can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Okay. To make sure to use FileZilla to transfer those files to the Raspberry Pi, remember?
Mhm.
Okay, so transfer, once you wrote the program, then transfer the program via FileZilla, and then you can execute the program on the Raspberry Pi.
I did,
Okay.
but I'll do it again
Raspberry
just in
Pi,
case.
since
Or
you're
is
in
it-
the GUI directory,
Why is it not
just type ls
showing
where
up?
you're at, dude.
What?
Since you're in your GUI directory, remember, if you type ls, you can list whatever's in your directory.
Oh, on this PC.
Elijah, you need to be following along. Elijah, you're doing all kinds of funky stuff. You should not be doing that
Why?
because you're doing it wrong.
I
You overwrote your GUIzero, which is also wrong. There's going to be all of your logic. Follow along so you do it right.
I'm gonna close out my
Elijah, if you look at my screen, or move it to go to GUI 1, do a file, save as, and do GUI 1, and we can move on to the next pieces. Elijah, you need to be paying attention. All right, yeah, Ronan,
better move this.
in your directory. No, Elijah has launched his. Let's try to make sure everybody's following along. Ethan 1, have you transferred your file and launched it yet?
I had to move mine to my Python file.
Okay. Yes, save and transfer via FileZilla. Same thing for Roman, and same thing.
There it is. Got it.
Okay, Roman, you have the includes at the top of your Python 3 file.
Okay.
With your Notepad++.
Please. Dash 0 dot or Python. This is Python 3.
Yes, it's a Python 3. Do Python 3 as well, Ronan? Hmm.
Print red, yellow. Why is it? Why is printing? Is that?
No, seems to be a problem
Over. Paste it.
Hey, Chris.
here. Yes.
Can you go back to your other code? I was copying it in the middle of it.
Sure. Okay, like this. You were using Python or GUI1. Do you see the welcome message?
Yeah.
You see your welcome message here? Is that what you're looking at, Elijah?
Yeah.
Okay.
My caps lock. My caps lock.
It's possible that the package is not properly installed, so I'm going to take a look here and make sure I got it right. Pip installed.
Eli,
Yes.
my profile picture is not.
Okay. Chris.
But
So I got the it like ran and stuff, but there's nothing actually on the GUI.
let me see your screen. If you added what I have on here and saved it as GUI-1, then you should be good. Let me see if I can pull up your screen. There's your screen. Okay, Ronan, I am installing some package dependencies that might have been missing, causing the GUI.
Oh, never mind. Give me errors.
You got a lot of errors.
What? Line 2607. I don't have a line 2607.
Very dude. So it says line 6 has an error for you. Or line 11. Make sure you have this all proper. All right.
Chris.
Who said Chris?
Ethan 1.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna make a new code because I copied it directly off the document and it's still doing the same thing. So I'm just gonna make a new code.
Saving something wrong because you're copying. It looks like you're copying an old file over.
Yeah.
All right, Ronan, I'm working. If you can see here on the other terminal, I'm working on adding some dependencies that might have been missing. And then what I'm gonna do here
I'm just gonna save it.
to save us some time is I'm gonna put this.
What would be wrong here? It's all the same as yours.
Pull this back.
Elijah, do you see my welcome message in the Google Doc? I copied that over here.
Okay.
All right, Soren, are you doing good, dude?
Mm-hmm.
For those of you, I think it's just Elijah and Soren so far that have already gotten the GUI to launch. I added the welcome message, which should be something that'll be on that form, and that is that text.
I'm gonna delete the code from the Pi, and then transfer it over.
Now, one thing, Elijah, that I see you did wrong, if you notice in the code, you see how you have app.display on 19 on mine? You have your welcome message after your app.display. It has to be it has to be above it. Everything
Oh, okay.
everything has to be above where your loop starts. So it's just like a function, and move your comment too. It's just like a function. It has to be up above your actual program loop. So the program loop itself is app.display. That's your program loop. That's the same thing as doing a loop of while true. Okay? Okay.
Hey, it worked.
There you go, Elijah. All right, Elijah's good. All right, so Elijah's got that part. Soren, have you moved on to
I'm working on it.
one? Okay, I want you to really recognize because what I just said is really important. You and put some spaces in there, Elijah, for Christ's sake. You need to always make sure that remember what I said is these are all called widgets. All of these widgets have to be in your program above your app.display. Okay.
I'm sorry, lady, but that was hilarious to watch. Bad girl. Bad girl.
Okay. Ethan 1, how are you doing?
Hey, Chris, look.
I tried to add a line, and it's still doing something weird.
This app is useless
Dad.
at the moment. All right, let me see your screen then. Hey, actually, you know what, Elijah, yours is working. Why don't you look at Ethan 1's text and see what you think might be wrong there? Okay.
Okay, look at my screen.
So
Okay, I need that. My action.
Chris,
What?
look at my.
did you see the terminal?
I can see the terminal. But you didn't save it. You got
That's
to
what
save
happened.
the program.
I did.
No, you didn't.
What do you mean?
You didn't save it.
I clicked the save button. There.
You're Beat the Boss C, right?
Yeah. I clicked the blue little save button, and now it's
Yeah, you're pretty frozen then because
gray.
your cursor's not moving either.
Now I transferred it. It's not?
Okay, there you go. All right, now send it over.
I did. And that's what happens.
It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, what do you? Let me look at yours now.
Show me your FileZilla, Ethan.
It's like it's one of my stoplight programs.
Well, then you're definitely doing something.
Yeah, show me your FileZilla.
.py, and then So now just
in
save
that
it.
directory.
Yeah. Woohoo! It worked.
Okay, we need to get everybody to catch up.
So I'll double click on
There you go.
this,
There you go. Now hit save.
and now
Save.
save it.
You guys know how to do this stuff. I don't know why you're doing it wrong. Okay, now use your WinSCP to transfer your
Okay.
GUI document or file over. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna delete it from the Pi and then transfer it.
Why is your WinSCP not on the screen so we can see it? Come on, dude.
Okay, so now go to GUI, transfer
It's on the screen
that.
right now because you're doing it on the other screen.
Oh, that's RP1. Use it. Need to move this out of the screen so I can
Okay.
see it. Save it. Transfer.
What was wrong with this screen?
So I'm going to do this one is Ethan. Here is Ronan. Okay. To it. So now we have a larger interface we can work with, so you guys can have two on one on each side. But I also need both of you guys to communicate with each other because you're also sharing a mouse and keyboard, so you can only do one at a time. Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to expand mine because I can barely see it.
Hey,
Everybody,
Chris.
listen so we can keep on moving here. What, Elijah?
So mine is saying with that code you just added in there that like it says say my name at the time. Should it be say _my name, or is that supposed to be like that for when you set it up top?
That was quick.
Let's say this is a push button. We have so this is actually
Hello, can you hear me?
it's because we're going to put a function in.
Oh, mine
Good
worked.
job, buddy. All right, Elijah.
Yeah.
I am
Okay, I'm gonna try to execute.
making a
Ronan.
function.
Okay.
Okay,
Chris.
GUI2. All right, is everybody looking at my screen? Is everybody looking at my screen?
Yeah.
So the first thing we had was that welcome message,
No.
and also I just want to reiterate that all of these things that we're putting in, these are what's called widgets. All of these widgets have to be put in above the app.display. I know we've kind of started real slow here, but I'm going to try to catch up with timing here, okay? So at the very start, the first thing we did was the welcome message, okay? Beyond just having the hello world as the top tag, we had the welcome message, so that's the thing that shows up in the very top. And then we have the my name equals text box, so that's the text box for entering code, okay? The next thing that I put on here, and we jumped ahead a little bit. Now, Ronan, you didn't get to GUI 1, but I think you're going to be okay. What we have here is update text equals push button app, and I also want to make sure everybody sees this. This app, that's what is coming down here to line 33. So that's basically tells it who's boss. So that graphical interface app is the boss of this button. This is a button that will actually show up, and the command equals say my name, Elijah. This is a command of coming up here and doing a function call. Okay, so that's like doing a function call within a button. Okay, so this is a little bit changing the structure of how this works, but I want everybody to track what we're doing here and how things have changed a little bit. So since we're doing this based on a GUI, when we do the command equals say my name, it actually is going to hit this function, and the text equals display my name. So what's going to happen is the text on the button itself will say display my name. What's going to happen here, though, is if you look at this function and you notice welcome.message or welcome_message.value, you see that? That comes over to here. You see that? When you do this,
Mm-hmm.
this button is going to make the change. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay. Now, who am I looking at right now? Elijah, type something in there. There you go. Now you push that button. Look at that. So what that button does is it takes the data input on text box of my name and it shoots it up to the function. So then welcome_message.value. So the dot value is what's actually the data that's in that, you could say that label of that text box. Okay. So since then you put a new value in your text entry box and you push that button, all that button is doing is now saying anything that's in that graphical input, write it over on that label. Okay. And something that I didn't go over, but it kind of goes back to a long time ago. As I learned it, the thing that you can't type directly into that first pops up and says the welcome, that's what's called a label. You can't actually input to that, but the program can input to that. The text box that you can input data to is your actual text box. So there's two differences there. You can't input directly into a label, but you can input directly into a text box. Now, all of these widgets, the dot value is where the actual content of that particular widget is derived from. So we can start doing different types of things to push buttons and adjust and manipulate the value of those different items. Okay? Has everyone had a chance to write this program, transfer it over, and execute?
This one.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by this one, dude.
Give me a sec.
And I also have my screen up over here looking at Ethan 1 and Ronan. So Ronan, did you execute that program? And it looks like you executed GUI-0.py, and I'm not sure if you've closed it yet. Yeah, you still have.
I'm confused on where we're at. Coach, I'm confused where we're at. Which one are we
We're
on?
on the GUI-2. As I mentioned earlier, we've moved on to GUI-2, and what you can tell here is all I'm doing as I move on is I'm just building out of this program. Okay. Now Elijah is in the process of doing the same thing. So Elijah has executed his program, and as he types things in, you push that button, it just changes it. Thorn, let me look at your screen. Do you have it running, dude?
I was confused on where we were. I didn't save a new. I didn't save like GUIzero as GUI1. So I actually GUIzero is now GUI1.
Okay, well then do a file save as and change it to GUI2.
Yeah.
And if you guys have the time, I definitely do. We can go on a little bit past the 4:30 since we had some hiccups. So we can at least try to get all the way through GUI4 and maybe even move on if you want to spend a little extra time with it. So it looks like Ethan 1 and Ronan have not executed GUI-2 yet. So why don't you guys finish that up, get that going. And Soren, you haven't done yours either yet, but Elijah has. I'm going to leave my code up right here. And it's also on the Google Doc. If you want to just copy it over, and you can do that. The one thing that's not on the Google Doc is this function. And remember, the update_text push button references back via this command equals this say_my_name is that function. So when you push that button, that function changes the text. All right, guys.
What's up, my dude?
Line 14.
Also, I want everybody to understand
I for sure you.
that there's all kinds of problems happening, okay? And that's totally okay, and that's absolutely expected. It's not going to be perfect the first time, and you're almost always going to have problems when you try to learn something new. We just made a big transition from doing things one way,
That's
so
cool.
just command line, and now to doing GUI stuff. So it's a whole new world. So everybody, it's totally fine if you don't get stuff, and I want everybody to ask questions if they have questions, okay? Ronan, what's going on?
And then you pull this out, you can change the cartridge by unscrewing that.
Oh yeah.
I'm not wanting to work.
Ethan?
Is it stylus?
And then when you
You
unscrew
have
this,
error on line 14. My_name.
and you put it in.
Dang, that's a crazy screwdriver. I've never seen
She's
that.
right here.
Probably has a little bit of text issue or code issue, syntax problems.
And then you just have these little things.
The inserts, yeah.
Mine looks fine.
Okay. You just had an error. I'm gonna see if I can execute yours for you too.
Yeah, look at this, Dad.
Schaefer, how busy are you right now?
Hello. Doing stay
Hello.
busy. Have 5 children and a whole bunch of Raspberry Pi stuff. It's a good time.
I mean, like regular other
Work.
IT stuff.
It's doing all right.
Yeah. Oh, I see you. Hello.
Hello.
Works.
Okay.
Mine works.
Mine. I have no idea what's wrong with mine. Mine sucks.
And then when you put it to this side,
All
Overwrite.
right, Ethan 1. Let's see your code. See what's going on, dude. It's telling me on your debug here, line 14.
I watched a video a little while back about magnets that can be printed on different north and south places. So you can like print different patterns of different north and south.
I cannot hear you.
Okay, do you have a speaker on?
I changed it to this.
Okay, now I can hear you.
That's a way to trouble. Resistors should have, I think it's two or
I
three.
can't hear him.
Oh, probably. It
I
doesn't-
actually can't hear you.
All right. Can anybody else? Is anybody else having a problem hearing me or no?
using my camera there for my
Elijah,
microphone.
can you hear me?
I am.
Okay, so everybody else can hear me.
That's fine.
It works pretty good.
I can hear you better.
Easy, the I/O on this computer. There's
I'm muting Eli.
USB 2s.
Elijah, you're talking a lot.
I'm also having trouble hearing.
Elijah, you're talking a lot.
I'm muting.
Elijah, be quiet.
Here, I can do that.
I'm actually a little surprised you're having issues with that code. My_name equals text box, and it's complaining about that one. Have you saved and transferred it?
I can transfer it again. It appears to be saved.
Did you overwrite?
Make sure you overwrite your old program.
No.
All right,
Yes.
let him
alright.
take over on the GUI.
Okay, now I'll try it.
All right, Ronan, we're closing you.
What the heck?
Who did that?
Is that mine?
Ronan, Ronan, stop typing over here.
I think that's me.
Ethan, this is you over on the left. Ethan's on the left side, Ronan's on the right. All right, it's still upset about this. What is it upset about? Syntax error, invalid syntax, my name equals. All right, let's then, if that's the case, then let's go back, make your Notepad++ a touch larger, and let's look at the, are you potentially not closing your previous statement on? Yep, there you go. That's what it is. Line 12, at the end of color equals black, you need to close your parenthesis. Close. So you open. No,
I
you
did.
didn't. Where's it at? There's no close.
Oh,
You close your quotation. There you go.
right there.
Save, transfer, execute. That's probably all she was.
Probably.
Now, Ronan,
Save.
let him finish. Nope. Over here. All right, go, Ethan. Execute that file.
I did. I think it worked. What?
Do it.
Yes.
Invalid
Do that.
syntax. You have an invalid syntax on your app.display. What's the problem on app.display? You know what? It's not. What? Okay. What did you just learn on the previous error that we had with the syntax error?
Oh,
There you go. Exactly.
found
Text
it.
equals display my name. Close, save, transfer, execute. All right, guys, we're gonna be moving on.
I'll make sure everything else
This
is
is gonna work
closed.
as soon as he gets this done. You just need to remember your proper syntax, Ethan 1.
Yes.
Duder.
Okay, now it's complaining about line 3.
Do you have your import proper? What's it saying?
Name error. GUIzero not found? I believe. Oh, import error, not name error.
From. It's not a operating system issue because his is working. Import error. No module named GUIzero. Well, I'm pretty sure that Rona's is operational. Yep, Rona's is operational. So what are you doing that's improper? So we're importing our GPIO. We're importing time from GUIzero import app, comma text, comma text box, comma push button, comma slider, comma picture. Well, it seems to be unhappy with that. Did you copy it directly?
I typed it directly. It wasn't letting me copy
You
it.
should be able to copy that directly from the Google Doc. Like everybody else did the same thing. So why don't you just get rid of that? There's going to be something extremely small and ridiculous with your imports that's wrong. Okay. Just take that.
Okay. Backspace Control V.
Yep.
Okay. Save it. This thing is getting annoying.
Okay. You have all kinds of fun problems, don't you, Ethan?
That's why I copied directly from the
Well,
slide.
copy the entire top portion. You got something it's unhappy. But I know it's working properly because it's working properly for Ronan's program.
Save. Why is wrong with line 3?
You're killing me, brother. All right, we'll troubleshoot. Let's troubleshoot Ethan 1 while I bring up GUI 3 for everybody else. So if you look at my screen here, you can see my GUI 3 is to do a file, save as, and save it as GUI 3. And the next thing we're going to have is we're going to add this text underscore size and adding a slider. Make sure you have slider in your include. And what I'll do here is I'll take this text as well and I'll put it over on the dock, okay? So I'll move this down. You're not using
What?
Python 3. There you go. Well, it ran. Now what? Text is not defined.
What's not defined?
Not defined.
Line 13.
My name underscore. Oh, that because you did. Let's see, 913. You have a lowercase t in text and not an uppercase t.
Oh, which text?
Right there. Look, if you look at my screen, you can see the difference. All right, Elijah, Soren, and Ronan, are you guys tracking? Added on the
Yeah.
Google Doc, the section here, which is this text size. So I want you to read what I have here on my
What
comments,
is
okay? This adds a slider to the graphical user interface. The owner form is app. So as you see, it says app is the first argument. Command calls the change text size function, sending slider value starting at 10 and ends at 80. So if you look at the argument, it says start equals 10, comma, and 80. Okay? So I'm going to grab this function from my next program. So also notice that what it does there is it has another command in that. Z. Okay, do you see on my screen here? We've got the function of change text size. That's what this command comes to. Okay. Just want everybody to look at the screen there then.
This is getting ridiculous. What the F is wrong?
Chris? Yeah.
Also notice you have to add the function since that slider is calling a function. Now I also want everybody to recognize that as we're executing these GUIs, it's doing a continuous loop. And that's how we're getting the dynamic input and output by being able to push buttons and slide things around. Ethan, one, you're having all kinds of problems again, aren't you? Okay.
Type error
Doing
and
things accurately and paying attention to details. All of your problems that you're having is just a lack of paying attention to details, okay? It's complaining about what? Got an unexpected keyword argument front. Why do I live? See, you're doing all kinds of funky stuff for no reason. Okay, where's front?
from
Yeah. What's front? It's supposed to be font. Details matter, man. This is code. Every little itty bitty thing matters. Okay?
Mine
Who
works.
just said mine works?
Elijah.
Let's see what you got. There you go. So when you slide it around, would you slide it for me? There you go. Cool. All right. Oh, look at that. Ethan 1 just got his to execute. Here we go, Ethan 1. Yay. All right. Let's keep going.
okay
Now
now.
remember, this is GUI 3, so I'm hoping you guys are continuously changing it. Ronan, are you working on yours as well? And I got Soren, and I haven't heard from him either.
I'm trying
Everybody
again.
gets this slider done
Save
before
it.
we move on to GUI 4. This feels like a couple of weeks ago when you guys are just first learning how to do the programming, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good job, son.
Oh, somehow that got paused.
Yep, he
So
did.
we don't have an Ethan 2, but I got a Ronan. Ronan, how you doing your program, dude? It works. Well, execute it. I haven't seen it over here yet. Execute it on the Pi. There you go. Sweet. Okay. So Elijah is operational. Soren is operational. Ronan is operational now. Ethan 1, how you doing?
What else do I need to add? I got the loop in.
Well, the loop, the app.display.
I mean the what's it called? The function.
Okay. So you got
The
your
function.
text underscore size? No, you don't have that. All you had is the function. So the code for the text size is on the Google Doc. You should be able to just copy that right over.
Help.
It's also beneficial to make sure you're keeping the proper order. As soon as we're done with this one, we're going to move on to GUI 4, which will just be adding one more section.
I don't see it added in here.
The text underscore size equals slider. Ethan 1.
Yeah, I'm looking. My name.
What?
Chris, is GUI 4 the last one for
Well, it
today?
doesn't have to be, but it can be.
Okay.
We are hitting our 2-hour mark because we had some hiccups at the beginning. Let's move on to the next one. It's 4:30. Okay, I'm opening up now. GUI number 4. So the last section of GUI number 4 is basically all the same stuff that we did on the previous 0 through 3s. However, we're going to add a piece to it, and this is a display photo. So I'm calling this robot, and in everybody's GUI document or directory on the Pies, you have a robot.gif. So do robot equals picture, just like you see here, and I'll drop this over in the Google Doc as well. Okay, the code for displaying an image is now on the doc. It is right here. Pretty simplistic.
So, Chris,
Yes.
is it possible to, what if,
That might be why I can't find it.
Chris, is it possible to make it so we can display our own images?
Yes. You'll just do what your directions do first, and then you can play around. So it's important to learn the concept of following the structure of instruction and doing it right the first time, and the first way that I say so. And then, once you understand how things work, then you can go and tinker around and do all this stuff and see if it works. But it's important. That's also why I have you guys save all of these different files so you can go back and make reference to certain pieces. Okay? Elijah, you getting this going?
Yeah.
Transfer GUI 4 over. Let's see you execute.
It works.
Yeah, mine's not transferring.
Mine's working.
What's the pop-up showing up there?
It says it could not be transferred.
All right, I think I'm looking at you right now. So drag and drop it. Transfer finished.
This is GUI 4.
Yes, this is GUI 4. Elijah, I
What?
see you have 0, 1, 2, and 3 in there.
Chris,
What?
mine works.
Is that Soren?
Yeah.
Okay, Elijah, I'm going to bring up your screen. Soren, let me see it. You're not presenting, are you?
Oh. Give me a moment.
File on there, Elijah.
What?
And reconnect. Make sure
I
you're
did.
using do port 22.
Yeah, I am.
Port.
I work.
Soren, yours works? There you go.
Uh-huh.
Mine works too.
Displaying. Ronan, you got yours too? Let me see it, dude.
It is now sleep
It's
time.
not sleep time. It's more work.
Ronan, are you executing?
Now you guys got to communicate with each other. All right, Ronan.
Much. Bill transfer 7.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's
No,
Ethan's.
that one's yours, dude.
I
I
didn't
just
run
told it to
mine.
run.
Oh,
So you've got your slider working, you've got your button working, and you've got your picture working. Sweet. What do you think about that, Roman?
Okay.
that's cool.
I'm running mine.
I did not put on safe inventory.
One. All right,
Good
run
in the
yours.
house. Good in
Because it's just not
We'll take a
working.
look at it. Let me watch Ethan 1 to run his and see if his will work. Yep, Ethan 1 worked. Oh, but he had an error. Welcome message not defined. All right, check out your line. You must have some kind of an error going on there, but it did launch. I think your program crashed. All right, Elijah, I'm looking at yours. All right, so I got Soren is operational, Ronan is operational, and Ethan 1's having some issues, and now I'm checking on Elijah 2. All right, Elijah.
Almost operating.
Oh, you know what might be good is why don't you just kill FileZilla entirely and restart FileZilla. Okay. Launch
Who?
FileZilla, and you are connecting to 60. I think I've got your desktop up here too. All right, I see your desktop.
Which one? Mine. Media welcome message not defined. Welcome underscore
Oh,
message.
trust. Okay,
What
fine.
line? Line 14.
Okay, transfer that over. There it is, dude.
Oh, that's why. That's not it.
Awesome. There you go, Elijah.
Oh.
He's down there.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
I'm running
You know,
mine.
same thing with this one, Elijah, is if I booted you with a screen, you'd have better resolution.
Okay.
All right, you got yours to work, Elijah or Ethan? All right. I think everyone is operational. Oh my.
Oh,
How do we feel about that?
yay. Chunk. He go
Yes.
chunk.
So that is a animated GIF. Now that's just a robot that I grabbed off the internet, just so we can have a animated GIF to show.
But it's not animating. It's not
It should
animating,
animate
no.
the first time you launch it, and only the first time.
So now what do I do?
Well, that is GUI 4. I just closed yours too. So if you launch yours again, Elijah, it should animate the first time you launch it.
But it doesn't.
Breaking out with the microphone. Come on, guys. All right, Elijah, I'm going to close this. Hey, Elijah, knock it off.
Is that everything?
I have to put a screen on it so you have a better screen because you just booted headless, so you get very minimal resolution. All right, so that is GUI number 4. Now it is 4:38, which we are supposed to have class from 2:30 to 4:30. I have 4 more pieces for this basics of the GUI stuff, but it sounds like everybody's pretty tired and pretty exhausted, and we did have a long, complicated class. So you guys want to call it anything there?
Sure.
Does anybody have questions
Sure.
or problems or concerns, or does it seem a little bit crazy just because we did a bunch of new stuff out of nowhere? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome and fun.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Now, again, I wanted to
Yeah, I think I was a little confused, but I got it
that's
now.
the same thing, is I wanted you guys to understand that I don't expect it all to be super easy. Elijah, you're screwing off. I don't expect it to be perfect the first time, and I don't expect this to go smoothly all the time because we're doing something new. We did a bunch of crazy fun stuff earlier with text base. We started doing stuff with Google Sheets. We started doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So we're just building on our knowledge. And now that we started this new section, it's a whole different world because now we're starting to deal with graphical user interfaces. You guys are having to use VNC to connect to the GUI. We're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and it probably would be even a little bit easier if we were all at the shop together working on things as opposed to having to deal with a lockdown. So I don't want anybody to get discouraged because it is kind of complicated and we have had a lot of problems, but that's just kind of the way it goes. I think it's super awesome that you guys, for the first time today, programmed your first graphical user interface. So that's something to be proud of, and I think it's super, super cool. And just understand that as we move on, it's going to continuously get easier, just like it got easier when we were doing text-based stuff and just doing interaction with the inputs and outputs. Okay, so on Thursday we're gonna move on to the next section and be able to start doing all kinds of other crazy stuff. But um, understand it's always going to be something new to learn, and that's the whole point. Is I'm just building new and more and fun stuff, and I just ordered a whole bunch of stuff to get us to a point where we can start doing even more crazy things as soon as I get some more stuff in.
Wait, today's Tuesday?
Tuesday, yes. What, did you sleep through this week?
I thought it was Friday.
It's definitely not Friday, little Mary. Yeah, it's not Friday.
Elon?
All right. Does anybody have any questions before we call it done?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. We'll call it done, and then we'll pick up where we left off here
Okay.
on Thursday. So I want to make sure everybody has everything ready on Thursday before we start class, so we can hit the ground running. Okay, guys? All right.
Okay.
What?
Also, Chris, when all this stuff is done, I'm gonna have to set my Raspberry Pi up
Yes.
to do this. So I might need some
Okay.
help from you.
All right. I will talk to you guys on Thursday, and feel free to chat in the group, and I'll be putting together something random. I don't know what yet for homework. Okay. Okay. Bye.
Okay. See you guys. Bye.